Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mary Buchan's virtual book launch. This is September the 12th, and we are in the middle of a party where we're having some wonderful, wonderful guests coming to us, sharing their life stories and their overcoming it. Of course, because everything is based on Mary's book. And I want to show it to you once again. This is Mary Buchan's book. It's called Over It. And it's all about how to overcome different stages in your life, either as a mother, as a wife, as a teenager. Any situation counts when you have to overcome a big, challenging situation in your life. Before we start and before I introduce you to our very special guest today, I would like to read you the dedication that Mary has at the front of the book, because it's talking to each one of you women out there. It is for you. So listen to her dedication. It goes this way. I dedicate this book to women everywhere who are committed to overcoming any circumstances that keep them from being their true, authentic selves. You are overcomers. You are mothers and wives and sisters. You are businesswomen and homemakers and dreamers. You are visionaries and volunteers. You are artists and musicians and poets and advocates for creating the best possible world. Well, I can tell you that right now the person that I am going to introduce to you in the next couple of seconds, she is quite a survivor and she's quite a woman. I'm going to read you a little bit of her bio that I have right here with me. I won't tell you her name yet. She is a business coach, a speaker extraordinaire. She's a supermom and she's an author. The name of her first book is Domination, How Successful Women Get on Top and Stay. Her second book is Paralyzed, Getting Past the Excuses of Why You Are Not Successful. So just by the title of her books, you know right away that she has a lot to say. So I would like also to tell you that she is the founder of Woman on Top and creator of popular programs like How Big Is Your Butt? Without any further wait, please welcome Odette Laurie. Hello, Odette.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very, very good. I'm very excited to have you here with me today.
Me too. Sorry, I got a tickle.
That's okay. That's part of being human, right?
Yeah.
So we are very excited to have you over here because, of course, with your life experience that you had and all that, we all feel that you have a lot to share about how overcoming different challenges in your life and how it connects to Mary's book. My view on all this is that we all have a story to tell, and the only difference is that some of us have the courage to go and share it with people and write about it and share through our own experiences. So I have to say, I'm very, very grateful for you to be here today and dare talk about it to everybody in the audience. So what I'd like to start with, of course, is if you could tell us a little bit about your past, where you come from, where were you born, and your outlook of life. Let's just start with this part.
Well, my parents were, they came from Holland, immigrants, on the boat with the $5 in their pocket kind of thing. And we grew up in Toronto. And I grew up in a very entrepreneurial household, but very much a household with a message from my parents was that if you want to get something in life, you have to go after it. It's determination, never give up, persistence, all of that kind of great stuff that you hear about. But as kids, it was ingrained in us. And I'm forever grateful for having lived in an environment like that, because it really serves us well when we get older and we start to live life and go through experiences, and our bags get heavier and heavier, just to make sure that we can live a life that we really want, and then we can become role models for our children.
Okay, so you were raised in a household where the entrepreneurship mind was really cultured by and fed by your parents.
Absolutely.
So that's great, because it's not all child that get raised with that. They say go get a job and go and do your 9 to 5. So it's already a plus that you had parents showing you this. When I read your bio over here, Odette, I saw that, you know, you've been through different walks of life. You've done many things in your life. You know, it seems like you were an angry teenager, and then did you marry young? Is that afterwards the angry teenager married young and left home, or what happened there?
No, I left home at around age 18. I mean, you know, when you have immigrant parents, parents from, you know, another country, there's always an excitement to, for me anyways, it was to go back there. So I went to Europe and I stayed for about 5 years. And I went to university in England. And that too was, you know, coming from a place of I just really wanted to do something different and unique, and this was my opportunity. So I really made that happen. And at 27 is when I got married. I think I got married at 27. Yeah, so it wasn't too early, but it was. I had a really eventful young adulthood, and not a lot of people leave home at 18, go to Europe, travel, and then end up staying there and going to university and coming back 5 years later. So it was fun.
Wow, I think that's a great experience. You know, when you travel and you are being with your emotion on your own, away from all the family and all that, that's a great way to liberate yourself and learn from yourself as well. Yeah. So, because we are doing a connection with Mary's book with how to overcome your it, I know in a lifetime we probably have more than one it.
Yeah.
Can you share with us what was the biggest it that you had to overcome in your life?
The biggest and probably the most recent is when I started a business coaching company. The reason why I became a coach was because I had a very successful business back in the early 90s, and 10 years into that business, I was with my husband, and we sold it, or I sold it to him, and I wanted to figure, what else do I want to do with my life? And I realized that why not teach other entrepreneurs or women, mainly, the skills that got me successful that could get them successful too in their business, whatever the business is. And so I opened up Women on Top Business Coaching back in August of 2010. I went full-time, and I was really super pumped and excited. And then it was about a month into, opening up the doors full-time, and we all know what that's like, right? We open up the doors and we go, okay, come on, clients, where are you? Just come on in. And it's a very scary time. And that's when I realized that my relationship, because I was in a new relationship, a common law relationship, and we were separating. And it was a very scary time because it's all these things that go through your head, like, can I do it alone? Can I make it financially? Oh my gosh, how am I going to pay my bills? That means I have to start all over again. All that mental stuff that goes through your head. All very important questions, but ones that require really good answers, especially when you're an entrepreneur that's about 4 weeks old. And it was about a month after that when I started to kind of get my feet settled in, like the dust was settling, and I started to have a plan. Both of my parents, over the course of the next couple of months, elderly parents, they were 80 and 85, they both fell, they both broke a hip at different times, but then they both passed away within a couple of months of each other. So now I have, sort of my future is wiped out. That's no longer. And my past, if anyone knows what it's like to lose your parents, you become an orphan. And it doesn't matter how old you are, you feel it's a weird feeling. And like your past is erased. And so it was the same weekend that we had the funeral service for my mom, was the same weekend the next day that I moved out of the family home, and my two teenage daughters and we moved out of the house and we started all over, and we had borrowed furniture. So it wasn't a good time. And don't forget, I still am in year one of business, less than year one. And I literally woke up one morning because the stress of it was just too much for me. Like, it manifested itself in a physical way for me. And it was like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. And I woke up one morning and I literally could not move my arms. I had severe pinched nerves in my neck, which rendered my arms useless. So I was literally paralyzed in my arms. And that was for about 12 to 18 months before I got the full use of my arms back. And it seems like a weird thing. Like, I still say it, and I think that doesn't make sense. It's weird. Who loses the use of their arms? But when you're under that much pressure, and then the pressure to what's your future going to be like? How am I going to put food on the table? Where am I going to get my clients? How am I going to get out there? And I took all of that stuff, and I never I never made it mean something other than what it just was. It was like, yes, the death of my parents, it's a sad moment, but I didn't make it mean that I couldn't move on in my life and in my business. And I never once said to myself, I can't do this. I never said I got to get a job.
So, because it's a lot. I mean, some people are just going through it. They're just going through a simple divorce or a separation, and the world is ending. You went through a separation. You went to both your parents died almost at the same time. You became sick, almost paralyzed. I mean, come on, everything happened in some. So, where did you find the strength? Where, I mean,
where? That's a really good question. You know what? I don't really know. I just, when you're a mother and you're like Mama Bear, right? And your kids are in danger. You got to feed your kids. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I just didn't give myself a choice because I just didn't feel I had a choice. And growing up with that attitude of never give up, being determined and all of that, I really had to pull on that. And I also think it was, life in the universe has a way of making you a better person, a better, in my case, a better coach, so that I could experience things, so that I could understand what my clients would go through. And I think I had it framed that way in my head, that this was happening for a reason, and to just let it just unfold as it would, rather than me going in there and trying to mess it up and tangle it up. Because I could have just laid down and said, I'm not doing this. But I would have wasted a few good years of hard work, and in all honesty, there's no one would have hired me anyways. Was probably another thought was, you know what, I got to do this myself because I wouldn't hire me. And I did, and I was really able to take that business from 0 to 6 figures despite all those life circumstances. And I think it's just by sheer will and not looking behind me going, I can't do this, I got to go back to my old ways. Because my old job was, after I had sold my business, was a government job. I was a government employee making $30 an hour. And I never wanted to go back there.
So that's really what I hear you say, is that when the shit hit the fan, really, instead of becoming the victim of all the circumstances that were thrown at you, you decided to, okay, you said I didn't have the choice, so you were kind of desperate and you just jumped in it and did whatever it took to make it happen.
Yeah. When I wouldn't even use the word desperate. I think it was just, I just didn't give myself an option, and it wasn't on a conscious level. I didn't think to myself, well, I don't have a choice, I have to do this. It was just, I got to do this. This is how you build a business, is that you pick up the phone, you call people, you get out there, you network, you speak, you write, you work on your website. These are just things, it was almost very mechanical or on autopilot.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that, because I wouldn't be where I am today. My kids wouldn't be where they are today if I had laid down and given up, or, as you say, give it into victim status. So it's just, life throws us curveballs. Life beats the crap out of us sometimes, and sometimes all at the same time. One of my friends actually made a really good comment. She said, it's kind of good that this is all happening at once, because you get it over with, right? Rather than year after year. So maybe that's what
it's still allowed, though. But that if you would want to leave the audience, because I know we have a lot of ladies right now listening to the message about overcoming your it, or your its, if you have multiple like you had all at once, what would be your message that you want to leave with the audience today?
You need 3 things. That you must have clarity. You got to get really clear on where you're at right now in your life. You got to have a vision. You need to be really clear on what your vision is. Is like, what do you want for your life? And no dream is a pipe dream, and no dream is a pie in the sky. Just what is that? And then third, you got to get really motivated to go after it. And I think the way that I was motivated to go after what I wanted was to take a look at what I didn't want. And I was really motivated to never ever get a job, never ever to work as a government employee again. So get motivated and pedal really fast to get away from what you don't want. It's almost more achievable, because we know what that pain of what we don't want feels like more than what we know what that vision feels like, because we've never lived it before.
I agree with you so much, because I think a lot of people say, well, I don't know what I want, I just want to be happy. But they don't know what they want. But if you just put the finger on it, if they start looking at what they don't want, maybe it would allow for what they want to come on the service and be able to be clear and guide them on their path.
Right.
Very good. Odette, I know that you have wonderful books, and that I named at the beginning of this interview, and I know that you're giving us a wonderful bonus for the book launch. And I'm not sure if we are frozen right now. It looks like
you are.
Okay, so it might move. I don't know what's going to happen. Let me stop the broadcast, and I'll restart it again, okay?
Okay.